Hello and welcome back to another episode of Transport Fever 2. In this video, we'll be going and connecting a few more resources to our cargo hub as we're starting to max out some of the industries that bring those resources in here, and I think we're getting to the point where we might need to bring in a sort of secondary or backup set of those resources. So just taking a quick look at what we have sort of already here. I believe we have two tools factories shipping to the cargo hubs. We have this one, and then the one over here, this one. So both of these are sending their resources to the cargo hub where they get distributed out evenly amongst all the cities. You can see, I think we only have 2 cities left to connect up, so that's very exciting. But I don't think we'll need to add any more tools to our resource network since we have 2 industries providing resources here. And I believe that might be the only one that has 2 industries providing their resources for us. And I believe this is the only place that we're getting food from, and that seems to be going okay. It seems like some of that food actually isn't making it to most of its places, so if we have time, we might look into that a little bit. But moving on to the next resource, fuel. Of course, we just worked on that, and that's all coming from here, where we have these numbers. I think still might be adjusting a little bit, but we can see that, and all the cities this is connected to. Then next, of course, is machines, and that we got going on here, where we're now pretty close to maxing out this resource. So that's yet another thing that we might want to work on soon. Goods, we have our own goods factory up here by Montgomery, and this, again, we just recently worked on, so hopefully we'll see these numbers come up a little bit more, but that might be something, again, soon we'll have to work on. And I believe lastly is construction materials, and those we are getting from this side of the map, right here from this construction materials plant, and this has been running pretty much full efficiency non-stop for quite a while. And if we take a look here, we do have some construction materials waiting, as we just recently updated our trains that are taking those construction materials. I actually don't know where they are at the moment. So here's one, and I actually think the other one might have just left the cargo hub over here, so we'll have to space these out. Hopefully we can do it in a way that doesn't block up the whole train network that we have. I think now it's past that signal, we could probably stop it and hold it while this other train gets a little bit more of a head start. We don't want them too close to each other because then the platform will be almost completely empty by the time the second one comes around, since the first one will pick up most of what's here, and the second one might only get about half of its full load because it was already storing the maximum amount here at the platform. So we'll space these out a little bit. Hopefully that'll bring those numbers down, but the fact that it's been running pretty much full efficiency this whole time means we probably most definitely need more construction materials as our first priority to the cargo hub. So with that, I think the next area that we're going to get construction materials from is somewhat close to the cargo hub in this construction materials plant right here. It's not too far away. I think this will actually be a good one to bring resources in by truck, so we can start to fill out some of these road depots just a bit more. I think maybe there's an opportunity to also expand here. Let's see if we grab this station and line it up. If we can get this to connect to all the rest of the stations in here, this might actually be a really nice drop-off platform we could use. So if we just pull this in close enough to connect to the road, we can see our train station, truck station, and port all light up. So I think we might actually do that so that we can pretty much keep this truck station for resources going out, and then whatever's over here, we can sort of make this the max truck station with 3 platforms, the longest length or whatever, and have that be largely just a drop-off platform. So I think this is sort of what we'll do. We put walls around it just because I think that might fit in a little bit better with the style of this area, since we have a lot of these brick warehouse buildings. We did also change where the entry and exit points are, so they sort of come out a little bit. And I did this so that we could maybe potentially queue up a few trucks if it gets overloaded. That might be talking way out in the future, but I think it's best to prepare for the worst instead of redesigning later. So we'll get these roads connected up, and then we'll flatten out the area, detail this new section, and then we can go about connecting up the construction materials plant to some quarry, wherever that may be. So connecting up a road here is going to be maybe a little bit tricky, as we'll want this to look somewhat good, but we also want like good 90-degree angles and such with this, and make it look good. But some of these connections are going to be a little hard to smoothly transition. So something maybe like this actually doesn't look too terrible. The only thing about it is this one-way street looks extremely narrow, but maybe it's worth a try. So I think we actually had that lined up pretty well. We'll build that like so, and then we'll pretty much do the same thing here, and then we'll flip the direction. So I believe this gets us our best 90-degree turn. We'll flip that around, and that should be good for our street connections. So now, of course, we'll want this whole area to sort of blend together, and I think one way we could do that is to maybe add a small warehouse here. I don't know if we'll be able to get one across this side, because then we'll get really close to these tracks, but we'll play around with it, see what we come up with, and once we get that, we'll come back so we can get into the finer details. Alright, so here's our building, sort of warehouse area here. I think this looks good. We could sort of maybe have this back end of the building sort of die into the hill. I think there's good potential with this. All the other warehouses were large or didn't look quite right in this area, but I think we could maybe make something look good out of this. So with that, let's try to detail this area up, make it look good, and then we'll go from there. Alright, so I think we have our area prepped pretty well. We extended the asphalt all the way across here, so this could probably just be parking for cars. We have our deliveries area in here, and over here is where all of our storage will be from stuff that gets dropped off over here. So we'll fill this up with containers, goods, and other stuff. And I think we're ready to go into the next level of detailing. I think we'll get some trees in here. We might just leave this open for now. We'll finish up this hill, add cars over here, add some trucks in here, as well as maybe some dumpsters and other things. And we'll be back once that's ready. Okay, and here is our finished truck area. You can see all the trucks, cars, and delivery area, and then moving over to the actual truck station itself, the container yard in the back with the crane, and all sort of neatened up with the trees that are out front here. So taking a closer look at this, we have a decent amount of parking here. I don't think it was warranted to fence off the area between the cars and the sidewalk, as this whole area is sort of a complex within itself, so I think it'd be sort of trusted that cars know what they're doing when they come in here. And then over here we have sort of our truck parking for some of the larger trucks that'll be coming into this area. Our little deliveries area with some dumpsters and other back of house things in this way. And then coming around to this side, we have sort of this large garage door area where when the deliveries come in, they get placed in this container yard here, whatever goods that may be, and then they would be sort of sent into these doors and then stored into this warehouse where then they can get sent elsewhere across here to whatever station they need to go to end up getting shipped out. So I think in the end, this new addition looks pretty good. The hill isn't terrible between the building and the train tracks up here. We might, in the end, come through and tidy this up, sort of hide some of it with bushes and trees, but for now I think it looks pretty good, and it sort of ties this end of the cargo hub together. There might be an opportunity for something over here, but it would probably have to be something similar to this, as it wouldn't really be connected to this truck station or this one, so if we do ever end up adding something here, it might end up being purely cosmetic or maybe just another drop-off point. We'd have to see, but I'm happy with how this is. We can now move on to this construction materials plant and figure out what we're going to do with it. So of course the easy part is just knowing that we'll be trucking these construction materials from here into our cargo hub. What we have to figure out now is where we're going to get the stone from. And I think our closest quarry is right over here by Modesto, this one here. And it's a little odd since it's not really in a mountain, but I guess if we're mining for stone, it doesn't necessarily have to be in a hilly area. I think it maybe gives a nice challenge to detailing. Instead of building up a hill or something, maybe we dig down and have maybe a few quarries to make this look a little more naturally incorporated to the landscape. But how we get those over there is what's going to be interesting, as there's a few ways we could do it. We could bring it this way, and we're actually already pretty close to this road. So we have this one that winds up this way towards this forest, and maybe there's an opportunity that we split off and come down and then have an intersection somewhere here, or maybe right where this bend is we come off and then just have a simple intersection in this area. That's probably the most likely option. A few other options to entertain is coming and connecting to the city streets, or just connecting somewhere closer to here, so this is more of an untouched stretch of highway. But that seems to be a lot less feasible than the other routes, so I think we'll connect with a road to here, and that's how we'll get to the construction materials plant. So first, before we do anything, let's upgrade our roads, as those usually end up being some kind of limiting factor. I don't think we necessarily need this road coming out this way, but we'll keep it anyway, just so these industries can be connected to somewhere. And then right here is where we wanted to turn off. We'll actually delete this curve and we'll make a new connection later. I think I'm okay with just cutting through this little hill, and then we'll have to pull that road back a bit and have that connect somewhere in there. So that should be our road connections on this side. Over here will be something similar. I think we'll maybe we'll make this one a little bit stricter in terms of sort of how it comes in and out of here, so more of like these right-angled turns. So maybe this will be where our station is, and then we can have the construction materials sort of build around this loop road. We'll see how that ends up working out, but we can now get our truck stations placed, and I think first we'll connect up the lines, and then once we have that running, we will come back and detail each industry. Alright, so our truck stations are set up. This is what it's going to look like at the construction materials plant. And then over here, at the quarry. This is the truck station we're going to use. It's a little bit more low-key. It's dirt, so it'll help to just blend into the environment a lot better. And we'll actually use these dirt roads to come around this quarry and connect up to our road here. Alright, so this will be what our roads are in this area, and I think now we can finally get some trucks going and see how this ends up working out. So we'll come into our road depot at the cargo hub, and we want to deliver stone, so that requires some of these tipper trucks. We'll get, let's start off with maybe 14 of them. I think that'll work out just fine. We will find this truck station and send it over to this one. So this works out just fine for us. We'll make sure it's only sending stone, and I think we'll be good there. And then next we'll need some of our flatbed trucks to take the construction materials. I'm just debating, well, I guess this flatbed one can't take construction materials, so let's go with this one, the 40-ton truck with side stakes. And we'll get, for this one we'll get 12 trucks. I'm not sure which one was longer, but we will adjust it as needed as we come through this. That will get dropped off there. We'll want to make sure that we specify that. So unload everything and only load construction materials. And I think realistically our truck stops should be connected up, so we should, if we come over to the quarry, start seeing some of that getting loaded here, which we do see. It's going to take a while for this to really ramp up, but now we can get into our detailing and making this area look good. Alright, so here's probably what we're going to leave off our quarry as. We have this whole area here that's getting dug out, and it's a pretty big area that's getting dug out, but I think that'll help justify sort of how much we'll be getting out of here. I think maybe in the future we could expand over to this side, but as this will probably be a secondary supply, I don't think we need it fully maxed out like we sort of have the other one. So the trucks will come in, stop here, pick up the stone, come around, and then leave. And I think that will pretty much be just fine. So now we can come over to our construction materials plant, get this going. Again, it's probably not going to be as big as the other one, but we will touch it up to make it look a little nicer. And of course we might have to wait until this industry levels up a little bit before we can start adding direct context, as we don't, well, I guess we do know what it looks like fully upgraded, but it'll be easier once it's actually here to build up and make it blend better. Alright, and then here is what our construction materials plant area is going to look like. It's largely focused around this truck stop. We have our two warehouses on the side. This one would be more for storage, and this one would be more for production. And then we have sort of these support buildings over here. So I think there is a good opportunity when this upgrades, we can extend these roads up one on each side and sort of flesh out the sides here. And I think if we ever get to that point, that'll help really tie in this area. So let's just finish up by fixing some of the terrain around here so that it matches with the edge of the industry. And I think we're good to leave this off like this. So we can start to see some of our trucks pulling into the station here. They don't have too many construction materials yet. Maybe we need some more trucks that go out to the quarry. Let's take a look over here. It looks like these are carrying everything. So I think it's just low demand right now, but that should, if we click this, the consumers, we can see it is starting to get distributed to other cities. And I think once some of these trucks start coming back around, we'll start to see these numbers ramp up. Now let's take a look over here at our existing construction materials plant. And it looks like this one's still fully working. Odd, for some reason Jackson has 0 transport for construction materials. Maybe something's going on here. Well, looks like this would be the issue. I think somehow we've managed to have complete gridlock in this section of the city. So we really dug ourselves into a mess with this one. I don't even know how we'd begin to undo this mess. I think maybe getting rid of this road is maybe a good start. Let's let that play, see if things start flowing. So these buses start going around. Let's see if maybe there's some other ways we can go about fixing this. So I think what's going to have to happen is we're going to have to delete this bus station, and we're going to have to completely redo it in this section of the city. I think that's been pretty long overdue. So we'll completely clear out all of this. And let's see if we can get a much larger bus station in here. Alright, so I think this is going to end up being our solution. Hopefully it works out. We'll have to keep a close eye on it. But this should allow for much smoother bus flow through here, as we have some loops that are confined just to Jackson, so they can use these loop routes. Some routes that strictly come in and out this way, so those will be confined to these loop routes, and then we might have 1 or 2 that could benefit from these pullouts on each side. So let's just take a look, and maybe we'll get an overview of the line. So this one makes sense that it would come in, loop around, and come back. So this one can stay here. I believe our other one that goes to Scottsdale, that one can also stay there. And then we have our 2 Jackson bus loops, which those can go on, I suppose these would be 5 and 6. We'll double check these. So this one seems to make sense going that way. And then the other way, I suppose this makes sense to do this. So we don't use these pullouts yet. I think we will leave them there just in case. Or I suppose we could just turn these off for now. So hopefully that should help out. They can hold a good amount of people, so hopefully you don't have to switch this out for a different bus station. But I think we will continue to have this be bus lane only, especially this road. So I think that'll work for bus lane only traffic. And then we just have to replace our truck station. And this one, I think we'll keep it pretty much where it was on this sort of side street. Hopefully that doesn't get in the way of many other things. But if we let this play, maybe we'll start to see these start coming through and undoing themselves. So that's definitely a sign that we need more connections into Jackson coming from this way. We do have this road, but that doesn't seem to really be getting used by anything. I'm not too sure exactly what the solution to this would be at the moment. I mean, we can always just flip some of these trucks around, and that might help out quick, get things sorted out. As it seems they're still pretty stuck. Alright, so it seems like some of this traffic is finally starting to move, at least a little bit. We're going to have to very heavily monitor this until it clears up, and then we'll have to come up with some solution so that this doesn't happen again. Although it looks like it might already be happening. Let's see if we get rid of this road as well. We're just going to pretty much have to delete roads until the streets clear themselves up, and then once that happens, we can come back through and build them back in. Alright, so it seems to be clearing up now. The main issue is somewhere in here there was an opportunity for our trucks and cars to completely get stuck, but I'm not sure that that's happening anymore. So we will let this run, and we'll leave this video off here, and when we start the next one, this should all be cleared up, and we'll come back and reevaluate it. Alright, so this area finally seems to be in a stable state. This will be all that we do. Hopefully these buses spread out between now and the next episode, because that'll also help greatly with the traffic in this area. Once these get back to being spread out, there hopefully shouldn't be any more issue there. So again, that's going to be all that we're going to do in this episode. So if you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe. If you have any suggestions or feedback, leave a comment below. Thanks for watching, and have a great day.